What's up, guys? Welcome to your 27th Android tutorial. We're going to finish up our toggle button and check it out, make sure it works. In the last tutorial we set up this if-else statement, and basically it's going to check if our toggle is pressed or if it's on, and then it's going to do whatever is in this statement, and if it's off it's going to do whatever is within this statement. And it's going to go through this method every time the toggle button is touched or pressed, or clicked I should say, because that's how this works, because we set up an on-click listener, and every time it's clicked it's going to go through this method and check for us. Now what we can do is we're going to use the EditText variable that we set up here, and we have it referenced to our EditText in the XML, and we're going to change that. So we called the EditText input, so we're going to say input, and we can hit dot, and then what we're going to do is we're going to set the input type. And basically, you know, there's the password type in a text view, or a number for the most part. You can make them only be able to put in numbers, stuff like that. So we're going to say the method set input type, and as you can see it's a text view type for the most part. And within the parameters, I don't know if I want to show you that. Okay, let's copy and paste this. And this is going to be if it's false. So if it's off, we don't want to hide the password. So what we're going to do is we're going to refer to the input type class and say input type, and then hit dot, and we have certain types of text that we can have within as for our input type. We're going to use the one called type class text. Now that's just going to be that's just going to be plain text that you can see, nothing special about it. That's how you'd set up just your plain text. So if the toggle is off, it's going to be plain text. Now we need to kind of do the same method for if the toggle is on, and it's going to be a little bit confusing. I mean, this tutorial isn't so much about learning how to set the input type. Well, kind of. That's basically what this tutorial is, so I shouldn't say that's not what it's about. But knowing all the fine details at this moment isn't that important. It's like I said, we're building kind of a reference application that you guys can go back and refer to when you guys are developing your own apps. So, and learning the Android along the way, obviously. So, how we're going to set the input type to be a password, or the starred, or basically, let's see if I have it pulled up. Yeah, see, like right now, if we put Travis, this is kind of setting the password. As for that's what it's going to look like. It's going to star out our text. So that's what we're going to set up if the toggle is set to true, or if it's checked on. And what we're going to do is say input type dot type class text again. And you're like, what? Well, that we aren't done. That's why I didn't want to set this one up first. This is just saying we can put text, numbers, all that good stuff in there. And then we're going to put this line, like a line like that, that's not an L. Basically that's the, I don't even know what that's called actually, but it's the button right above your enter, or right above your return key, and you have to hold shift to hit it. So you put that line, and then you also put another input type, or refer to the input type class, and hit dot type text, and then variation, and variation password. So that's going to change it to basically back to the stars. And I know that's kind of confusing why we had to put two different things in there. Don't worry about that. But yeah, that's how we'd set that up. And now again we're getting an error because we're using the edit text within a subclass again. So what we're going to do is just change that edit text to be final, and it should get rid of those errors. Now let's check our application, make sure it works. Again, we're just kind of getting familiar with Java. I'll leave this up for a second so you guys can pause it and make sure everything's spelled right within the brackets. But yeah, we're just making sure, we're just walking through the Java process still, and making sure you guys are following along for the most part. But yeah, kind of a lame tutorial, my bad. But hopefully you guys will like this application after we get done. It's going to explain a lot of Java and how we can reference stuff and use some certain methods with text. So here we go, we say Travis, and since it's toggled on, it's under stars. well, actually, since we define it in XML, we said Android :password equals true. It's going to be stars automatically, and we also had this set to true as well when we started. And then if we toggle off, it says Travis. Then we can toggle back on. So, you know, kind of a lame tutorial, but hopefully you learned something about the set type or input type and set the input type. Alright, I gotta go to bed, but I will catch you guys later. Thanks again for watching, and have a good day.